All right, we're back. Week 5, a very challenging Sunday. Another game that the Browns should have won. But we're coming right back here with trying to believe that we're going to pull out a victory against one of the toughest teams in the NFL. But let's kick it off. Drew is actually on vacation, or he just couldn't figure out reasons to believe in Cleveland this Sunday. But we'll take it this week. Eric, how about you start us off with reason number 5 to believe we're going to beat the Chargers?
There's been a lot of key injuries to players that have great consequence for the Chargers. Rashawn Slater, left tackle, pass rusher Joey Bosa will both be on IR and not be available for this game. And then obviously you have Justin Herbert, who had the rib injury against the Chargers, played poor against the Jaguars, came back last week. So the Browns are going to have an opportunity to make the Chargers backups look like backups in this game. It would be great if Jadeveon Clowney and Garrett could come back and kind of help out without Rashawn Slater at left tackle. Meanwhile, the offensive line should be able to breathe a little easier without Joey Bosa coming off the edge. They've been playing well this whole year, haven't been giving up too many sacks. It hasn't been the reason for the offense's poor output. So, we should hopefully take advantage of those weaknesses on their team of some of their better players at key positions missing time. If Herbert can play like he did against the Jaguars and not like he did last week, then I think the Browns are going to have a good chance to win this game. And then kind of what I said earlier is that, meanwhile, if we can make the backups, kind of struggle in key areas, I think the Browns are going to have a good chance this week.
Yeah, Herbert toughed it out with the win against the Texans. We didn't get lucky. We didn't get to see Herbert sit down for this game, and we will see who from the Browns gets to play. But we will be able to count on Nick Chubb. Chubb had an awesome game against the Falcons with his hometown, his high school. That was there, showing a lot of appreciation for Nick Chubb. And I think just as a reminder, maybe every single week here, please appreciate Nick Chubb. Him and Saquon Barkley, top 2 running backs in the game for just a bevy of different statistics. It's Chubb and it's Saquon Barkley. We'll see who gets the most yardage by the end of the year here. Nick Chubb, 5 touchdowns. Browns have a point differential of plus 10. Good thing. We're tied for first in the AFC North. 10 more. But we did have plus 12 in the win against the Steelers. So it has been just a very close season this year so far. Nick Chubb has been a big part of that. So please appreciate Chubb as one of the top stars in all of football. So Eric, let's go with you with number 3
Yeah.
here.
Is that we have a West Coast team playing in back-to-back away games. They're going to be on the road again, going back to the Willie Nelson kind of the genre. They're used to that. The later games, the West Coast mentality, the routine of that sort. Granted, they did get a win last week against the lowly Texans. However, hopefully being out of their element for over 2 weeks is going to hopefully throw a few things off for the Chargers. You could see that happen with the Browns this past week in Atlanta, only having 1 week off. They look very disorganized offensively the first half of the first half, first quarter, I guess you could say. Yeah, I mean, you always hear of the West Coast teams traveling east, playing at 1 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock their time. Um, you know, I think that could possibly tilt in the Browns' favor, but they've got to take advantage early. The Browns have had not really gotten off to great starts this year in games, and I think this is an opportunity for them to kind of take a big lead early and really put the Chargers behind the 8 ball. So I'm hoping that it's going to be the travel slash not used to that momentum early rise for the Chargers and the advantage for the Browns.
All right, so number 2, I'm going to be a broken record here and talk about the offensive line, which has a big part in the running game. But there's been some good consistency. I know we've heard about the injuries, Joel Bitonio, Jack Conklin. They have fought to stay on the field. I think the past 2 games, both have played all snaps. And then when looking at the snaps over this season, Pozick, Batonio, and Teller have played all snaps so far this year. So we've seen some good consistency on the offensive line, and I think that's just going to continue to pay dividends as we go deeper into the season. Another good stat, Browns number 4 as far as lowest percentage for sacks. But the bad news is the Chargers are actually number 1. So we're going to be facing a tough offensive line with Los Angeles this weekend as well. But we will count on our offensive line to be a big part of the offense. All right, so Eric, let's go with you with number 1 here.
All right, well, it's been kind of well documented is that Kevin Stefanski kind of doesn't let things spill over into future weeks. He has that bounce back kind of mentality where we're not going to be hopefully losing multiple games in a row. The Browns in 2020 went 11-5 in the regular season, did not lose back-to-back games at all. Last year, they lost 2 in October, one of them being the Chargers, ironically. The other one was a 3-game stretch that things kind of rattled off. I'm not going to point fingers. But, looking back at this franchise since 1999, that's been the norm. It's been 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-game losing streaks. Fortunately, that's not been the case with Kevin Stefanski. I expect changes to be made. I expect changes to be made in the locker room with his assistant coaches, with the players in general. An improved emphasis on getting things corrected, putting individuals in the right position to exceed and excel, and most importantly, making the right decision. I'm hoping that we like the aggressiveness, but when it works out, we're not really consistent with that. We're usually consistent with that aggressiveness, regardless of whatever happens, and it's been biting us in the rear end in the last couple of weeks. So hopefully, sometimes taking the points works. Sometimes going for the touchdown works. Hopefully, Stefanski can kind of figure out what needs to be done at what spot, and he makes the right decision and they execute. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here for him to correct a lot of things that have gone wrong the last few weeks, especially the 2 losses. And I think they can get back on track and have another 1-game winning streak, I guess, after a loss.
It's going to be a tough game this weekend, but it is in Cleveland. The home fans there, and we'll be watching.